Afternoon from Phillip Island. Cut the tension with a knife. Round 16 of the MotoGP World Championship. I'm Nick Harris, sitting alongside me Matt Burt, and down in pit lane is Dylan Gray.
30th MotoGP pole for Marc Marquez ahead of Andrea Iannone and Jorge Lorenzo. Row 2, Pedrosa, Crutchlow, and the first of the Suzuki's, Maverick Vinales.
Row 3, Valentino Rossi, the championship leader, Aleix Espargaro, his brother Pole. Row 4, Andrea Dovizioso, Scott Redding, and Bradley Smith.
Row 5 headed by Danilo Petrucci, Hector Barbera and the big home crowd favourite Jack Miller. Row 6 Lavati, Hernandez and Alvaro Bautista.
Row 7 Loris Baz, Nicky Hayden and Stefan Bradl. Row 8 Mike DeMeglio, Ant West and Tony Elias. And completing the field, Damien Cudlin in for the injured Alex De Angelis. The formalities are over. All the thought about what is going to happen is gone, because the moment has arrived. The moment we've been waiting for since they crossed the line in Motegi 1 week ago.
Marc Marquez, there is the tension. The nerves are jangling as the riders start this warm-up lap. 27 laps of this majestic 2.764 miles Phillip Island circuit. There are the two big championship rivals, Rossi and Lorenzo. The action unfolding in front of a crowd of just over 35,000 fans who've made this pilgrimage down to Phillip Island.
Dylan, one quick word about the weather. Obviously the sun's shining now, but it will drop off the temperature, won't it?
I'm not entirely sure, because it is absolutely amazing. We've got the sun out. It's not like last year where we had a bit of cloud cover. If it stays this way, we might have a slight drop off, but this year it should not affect them. A, because it's warmer. B, also because they have this different style, asymmetric front tyres, so they're not going to have the same issues with it cooling off too quickly. So I think here we really are going to be treated to an outright race without any kind of external factors ruining it for us.
Well, that's exactly how we want it. It is a level playing field. Here are the riders riding up through the Siberia part of the circuit, then through 7 and 8 fast flowing corners, then down over Lukey Heights, down towards the old MG corner, as you can see. And that's incredible left-hander that brings them back into the start and finish straight, the Gardner straight. Tyre temperatures here far higher than any other corner in Grand Prix racing. Just remind you, 18 points separate Valentino Rossi, who's qualified on that third row of the grid, and Jorge Lorenzo, who is qualified on that front row in third place. The man in pole position, it's Marc Marquez. Alongside him, Andrea Iannone. What will that points position be after 27 laps here at Phillip Island in Australia? Stay with us to find out.
27 laps of the Australian Grand Prix about to get underway here at Phillip Island.
Right at the start. Very, very important start. Good start by Iannone, good start by Marquez. What about Lorenzo as they race down towards the Duan corner? Looks like Lorenzo.
Iannone, though, got a great start from that front row of the grid. It's the Italian that leads Lorenzo already up the inside of Marc Marquez. Valentino Rossi has got stuck behind Cal Crutchlow. Brilliant start by the British rider Danny Pedrosa there in 4th place. Rossi has picked up a place into 6th, but he's got to get by Cal Crutchlow as soon as possible. Iannone leads coming out of the southern loop.
Iannone leads the way up towards the Casey Stoner corner, famous from the world champion, 6 times winner here. Now they break hard for the hairpin. Here comes Danny Pedrosa up the inside of Marc Marquez, and Lorenzo closes upon the rear wheel of Iannone.
More arrogant aggression from Danny Pedrosa up the inside of Marquez, brilliantly on the brakes down into turn number 4. Still no way through for Valentino Rossi on Cal Crutchlow, out of Siberia for the first time. Iannone still leading the way. Lorenzo second, then Pedrosa, Marquez, Crutchlow, Lorenzo. What a move around the outside of Andrea Iannone through turn number 8.
That caught him, Iannone, by surprise over the top of Lukey Heights. Can he get back at him? No, because Lorenzo rides defensively, and Marquez and Pedrosa swap paid, but where he wanted to be he is. Jorge Lorenzo leads the way into the last fast left-hander into the Gardner straight.
You can see how desperate Marc Marquez was to make that move on Dani Pedrosa down into turn number 10. He knows now with clear track in front of him, Jorge Lorenzo will try and get the hammer down. He's broken through on Andrea Iannone. There is Valentino Rossi, still down in 6th place. Lorenzo leads on lap 2.
Lorenzo still leads the way, but Andrea Iannone has come back at him. He should have the advantage as they come into the southern loop. No, Iannone makes it stick, and Marquez and Pedrosa say thank you very much indeed. Iannone leads the way again as they come out of the southern loop.
Lorenzo blitzed by that Ducati power. Iannone drove past him down into the Duan corner. The Italian then leads down through the Stoner corner for the second time. Dani Pedrosa and Marc Marquez looking for a way through on Lorenzo. Rossi still there in 6th. Cal Crutchlow doing a great job in 5th place. Dani Pedrosa there having a bit of a wobble through Siberia. Still though Iannone that leads the way. This is where Lorenzo got him last time around, coming through 8.
Will he catch him again? I don't think he's quite close enough. Through 7, up to 8, up towards Luki Heights. Iannone leads the way on the Ducati. Lorenzo closes up and plunges down towards the old MG corner.
This is just what Marc Marquez, Dani Pedrosa. Oh, Iannone has ran straight into a seagull. We saw that seagull sitting in the middle of the track. Iannone had no way to avoid it. He tried to duck, but Iannone drops out of the lead. Lorenzo sweeps through to take the lead.
Wow. Can anything else happen in this World Championship? Iannone hit by the seagull. It certainly distracted him, and Lorenzo retakes the lead. Look at the Ducati, look at the Honda as they come down the main straight. They lead the Yamaha, but you've got to say Ducati's got the grunt and Iannone's back in front.
Oh, Iannone and Marquez, they sucked the blue paint off that factory Yamaha down the start-finish straight. Lorenzo was like a sitting duck coming down the Gardner straight. So Marc Marquez then up into 2nd place. Cal Crutchlow's moved up into 4th by Dani Pedrosa. Rossi still sitting there in 6th place. We haven't seen a move as yet by the Italian.
Great race out the front. Here comes Marc Marquez into the hairpin. Marc Marquez in the hairpin on the brakes. And Marquez takes the lead, and Lorenzo comes through as well.
Yeah, Iannone. Marquez just got in a bit too hot down at turn number 4. Iannone swept straight back underneath him. Marquez was out so wide that Lorenzo could come back through as well. We're on board with Dani Pedrosa looking back at the World Championship leader as they fire out of Siberia through this turn number 8. Iannone back at the front of this race.
This suits really Rossi though, doesn't it? Because Lorenzo hasn't been able to get away at the front. Before we've seen him race away in the first 2 or 3 laps, it hasn't happened, and Rossi is right in there.
Pedrosa fights back up the inside of Cal Crutchlow. They lean on each other. Great stuff between the British rider on the LCR Honda and Pedrosa on the factory Honda. Still Rossi can't find a way through. Lorenzo now leads this Australian Grand Prix. Brilliant stuff in the opening 3 laps.
Yeah, watch at the power though of the Ducati and the Honda as they come down this Gardner straight. 900 metres, here we go. Race down towards the Duan corner. Iannone once again retakes the lead into the Duan corner just about. Lorenzo though still holds the advantage into the southern loop. Iannone up the inside. Lorenzo makes it stick as they come out of that southern loop.
And Rossi's finally made his first move of the race. He's taken 5th place from Dani Pedrosa. Back with the race leader Jorge Lorenzo. There is Rossi now with Cal Crutchlow next in his sights. They sweep through the Stoner corner. Lorenzo leads hard on the brakes. Marquez now looking up the inside of Andrea Iannone again. He's in too hot. He momentarily took that 2nd spot. Iannone sweeps straight back through, and Rossi's made a move. Rossi up to 4th on Crutchlow.
Up through Siberia they come. We wanted a tight, close race. It could not have been better than this. Lorenzo leads. Iannone, Marquez. There is Rossi. He's not letting Lorenzo get away. Through 7 and 8, these fast-flowing right and left-hand corners, and then over the top of the Luki Heights and down towards the old MG, where overtaking is possible.
Down through turn number 10. This is where we saw Andrea Iannone have that unfortunate bird strike. Lucky there's not any damage actually to that factory Ducati. Now has Lorenzo got enough of a gap to stop himself being slipstreamed down this long Gardner straight? Here he is sweeping through this turn number 12. Iannone running a tight line on that Ducati. Rossi then up into 4th place. Marquez, he will certainly try and blast that Repsol Honda down by Andrea Iannone. Lorenzo leads at the start of lap number 5.
They race down the straight 200 miles an hour. Lorenzo makes it stick this time round. Lorenzo leads the way into turn 1. Iannone's lining up for the southern loop. Not quite close enough. Marquez. Rossi will be delighted with the start he's made. Great ride also by Cal Crutchlow.
Fastest rider on track on lap 4, number 46, Valentino Rossi, a 1:29.655. Rossi just slowly working his way to the front. Danny Pedrosa's not made any impression on Cal Crutchlow, and he's out wide at turn number 4. Will that let Rossi through? He cut it back, he can't find a way through, so still holds third through Siberia. Lorenzo from Marquez.
Rossi will want to get past Iannone as quick as he can. He will be worried that Marquez and Lorenzo will get away at the front. Rossi through 7 and 8, up towards the Lucky Heights he comes. He's all over the rear wheel of the Ducati, and he's gone up the inside, and he's taken third place as he comes over Lucky Heights.
Brilliant move by Rossi, hooks the inside through Lucky Heights, no way through for Iannone. Cal Crutchlow now up the inside of the factory Ducati rider. Iannone's lost 2 spots in 2 corners. Crutchlow, a great ride by the British rider, he's up into 4th place. Can he go with the factory aliens? Lorenzo leads from Marquez, from Rossi. Lorenzo starting to eke out a little bit of a gap at the front. We're about to complete lap number 5. It's Lorenzo, Marquez and Rossi.
Big moment there for Marquez as they come through that 5th gear, left-hander into the start and finish straight. Brilliant ride by Rossi. Lorenzo now has got the hammer down. But if Rossi can finish on the podium, Marquez runs in a bit wide, but then cuts back across as they do.
Yeah, Marquez getting a little bit erratic, isn't he? We've seen him run wide a couple of times at turn number 4. He was out wide at the Duan corner. That's let Rossi through on the last lap. Lorenzo, Marquez and Rossi, 1:29.7, 1:29.7, all of them. Here comes Marquez. He's good on the brakes into turn 4 though, but can he get his stop this time? Rossi runs a tight defensive line. Marquez is up the inside. Brave move, he makes it stick. Rossi pushed back to 3rd.
Oh, terrific braking then from Marquez. Rossi now sandwiched between Crutchlow and Marquez. Lorenzo says, keep this up, please, because the more you do this, the more I'm going to get away at the front. They race up through Siberia. They come through 7 and 8. Rossi is very quick here. On to Marquez he comes again, and has Rossi got through?
He has, yeah, brilliant by Rossi, but Marquez fights straight back there where Rossi took Iannone on the last lap. Rossi will fight back hard on the brakes down into turn number 10. He's got the inside line. Iannone nudges Marquez out of the way, aggressive from the 2 Italians. Not very often you see Marquez roughed up. Well, that's exactly what's happening to the Spaniard.
I think the Mafia were there between the 2 Italians. Lorenzo at the front, but Rossi doing a good job. He can only lose 5 points, but there's a long way to go. What a start to this race. Round 16 of the championship, it just doesn't get any better than this. But Rossi getting a little bit robbed as they go down towards the Duan corner by the Ducati and the Honda. And Crutchlow all over him now.
The difference in speed and acceleration coming out of that last corner between Rossi and Lorenzo's factory Yamaha and the Honda and the Ducati of Iannone. That Ducati of Andrea Iannone is an absolute rocket ship down the straight, and it's great fight for 2nd place. This is music to Jorge Lorenzo's ears. It's just giving him a chance to break away. Iannone around the outside. Whatever Iannone can do to Marquez, Marquez can do back to Iannone. They're paint swapping in that battle for 2nd place. Iannone back up the inside of Rossi. What a great fight at Philippe Island for 2nd.
Up through Siberia they come. There is still 20 and a half laps to go if we can last that long. Through 7 and 8, up towards Lucky Heights. This is the battle for 2nd place. This is where Rossi is so strong. Tries to get up the inside of Iannone, not able to do so. In the meantime, he's clearing off at the front. Jorge Lorenzo.
Marquez has tried to lead this group. Iannone's tried to lead this group. So has Rossi. None of them can break away. Danny Pedrosa's moved back in front of Cal Crutchlow. Come right into contention at the back of this battle for 2nd place. The 2 Suzukis of Maverick Vinales and Aleix Espargaro. They're right now behind Cal Crutchlow. Lorenzo's lead over the line to start lap number 7. We'll check it over Marquez. It's up to 1.4 seconds.
20 laps to go. Where Valentino Rossi finishes in this race now is going to be absolutely crucial for the outcome of the championship. Lorenzo clearing off at the front. Rossi trying all he knows to get past Iannone and trying to have a little nibble at Marquez. We ride with the master at riding at the front. 6 points it would be in the championship if it remains the same. But it won't remain the same. We know that. Just look back to Motegi.
Rossi, will he have a look up the inside of Iannone down at turn 4? He does. Rossi, clinical but beautiful move by the veteran Italian. There he is in 3rd place. Now Cal Crutchlow's moved back ahead of Danny Pedrosa into 5th. Vinales and Espargaro doing a great job on the factory Suzukis of hanging onto the back of that factory Honda. Next in sights for Rossi then is Marc Marquez. He needs those crucial 4 points.
Now there is the tyre selection, so that is going to play no part because they're all on the same tyres. We ride with Lorenzo, chasing his 7th Grand Prix victory of the season. It's what happens behind him that is going to play such a part in this championship. Marquez 2nd, Rossi 3rd at the moment. Iannone just for a little bit. It's settled down just for a second before war will break out once again.
Through turn number 12 onto the Gardner straight for the 8th time. Lorenzo leads the Australian Grand Prix. There's going to be a 9-point swing in the championship if it stays as is now. Valentino Rossi, fastest man on the track, the best lap of the race so far, a 1:29.369 from Rossi. He was half a second quicker than Jorge Lorenzo. This race has not run its course by any stretch of the imagination. 19 laps to go. It's game on here in Australia.
Through the southern loop we come. We ride with Valentino Rossi up towards the Stoner corner. This fast left-hander before you're on the brakes for the hairpin. Turn 4. There is Lorenzo. Rossi closes up on the brakes. Iannone is there. Crutchlow having a great ride, and he's keeping Danny Pedrosa out of this podium fight at the moment.
They'll come through the second split now. Lorenzo through Siberia. Then he'll be followed by Marc Marquez. What's the gap then between the two Spanish duo at the front? It's 1.1 seconds. There's Maverick Vinales. What a great job. Last year's Moto2 winner here is doing the 20-year-old Spaniard. He's making a break from his teammate Aleix Espargaro. Vinales in 7th place.
Rossi is lining up Marquez all the way through. Can he get him on the brakes down at turn 10? It's tight. No, he can't. And he can't get him for sheer power down that start and finish straight. But Rossi as close as he's been to Marquez for some time. Into the left-handers at the top end of the circuit. We ride with Valentino Rossi. You can see Lorenzo. You can see Marquez. Into the Gardner straight. 5th gear as quick as you can. Up to 6. Almost 200 miles an hour before the Duan corner.
Rossi's Yamaha definitely does have the grunt down this long Gardner straight that Marc Marquez does have. Iannone, Crutchlow and Pedrosa, they've all just done personal best laps of this race. Marquez again out a little bit wide through the Duan corner. That's given Rossi the chance to get glued to his back wheel through the southern loop. Will Rossi now be close enough for a strike on the brakes down into turn number 4? They head down to the Stoner corner, 5th gear, fearsome corner. Rossi doesn't look like he's going to be quite close enough.
Well, brilliant onboard stuff as we ride with Marc Marquez. No, Rossi is not close enough, but he closes up once again through that 1st gear right up to Siberia now. 17.5 laps to go. We've been waiting for this race for a long time, and we are disappointed in no way at all. What a battle. Lorenzo out in front. That gap is not as big as it was. Are they catching Lorenzo?
Yeah, they've picked up a couple of tenths on that last lap here. It's Jorge Lorenzo, a bit of a wheelie, bit of a wobble. That would have cost him crucial drive. Couple of tenths lost there as he came down the Gardner straight, and you can visibly, clearly see Marquez and Rossi edging ever closer to the race leader Jorge Lorenzo. They sweep through this turn number 11. The top 6 just getting broken up a little bit. Iannone desperately trying to hang on to this battle for the podium, and then Pedrosa and Crutchlow trying to fight for that 4th place. Let's check the gap then between Lorenzo and Marquez at the end of lap 10.
The gap is 0.68 seconds. You can see the gap. Marquez, Rossi, Iannone and Pedrosa has got past Cal Crutchlow. So Pedrosa now up into 5th place. Cal Crutchlow 6th. Vinales, Aleix Espargaro, Paul Espargaro, Bradley Smith, Andreevich, Sergio, Danilo Petrucci, Scott Redding, Jack Miller and Alvaro Bautista. Let's go back to the front.
Guys, just very quickly, Damien Cudlin had to come back in, had to come into the pits with a technical issue. The team have sorted it out and sent him back out again.
Whew.
That gap is coming right
with
down.
him. They're right with Jorge Lorenzo now.
They're going to come down into Siberia. Problems for the 2006 world champion Nicky Hayden. He's retired out of this race. Lorenzo and Marquez will sweep through Siberia through the second split now. What is the advantage? 7/10 of a second. So Marquez just a little bit faster. Marquez is dragging Valentino Rossi up into this battle for the lead. Crutchlow still clinging to the back of Dani Pedrosa. The gap between Rossi and Iannone is up to half a second.
We ride with Marc Marquez. Right behind him is Valentino Rossi. Closes up that familiar number 46 right in his face. Both of them have won four Grand Prix this year, but it's Rossi's consistency that puts him top of the championship table. Run along the top end of the circuit and now into the Gardner Straight. When they cross the line, check the times, and there will be 16 laps to go of this epic encounter here at Philippe Island. He's pulled back another 1/10 of a second, Marquez.
Yeah, and again on that last lap, Andrea Iannone and Dani Pedrosa, they just put in another personal best lap of the race, 1:29.6 from Iannone. He's right there, he's back with Rossi and Marquez. Brilliant ride from the factory Ducati rider over the line. The gap between Marquez and Lorenzo was down to just over half a second.
Rossi closes up through the Stoner corner. He's going to have a go at turn 4, I think. He's closer this time. On the brakes he comes, Valentino Rossi. No, and he's got to worry behind as well if he makes a slight mistake, because Iannone is right with it.
He's got a massive worry with Andrea Iannone right behind him. Maverick Vinales still with Crutchlow and Pedrosa in 7th place. Here they come then through this second split now. Lorenzo's got the hurry up. He's stretched the lead now to almost back to 1 second.
But also bear in mind, we were told it is going to be so much about tyre conservation at the end of the life. If Rossi can stick behind Marquez, get pulled along up to Lorenzo, that could also be another way to conserve those tyres just a little bit more.
Marquez, Rossi, Iannone, Lorenzo leads the way. They come through the MG corner now into this fast flowing left. Could not be close. It could not be a better race. The outcome of the championship is so finely poised. Into the Gardner Straight they come. 15 laps to go here at Philippe Island. This could go anyway. Look at that Ducati versus the Yamaha. And look at it against the Honda. Andrea Iannone moves up into 2nd place.
Incredible engine performance from that Ducati. That was like a MotoGP bike versus a Moto2 bike on that Gardner Straight. Valentino Rossi absolutely powerless to stop Iannone coming by on that start and finish straight. If Iannone can be close enough coming out of turn number 12, then he is going to blitz by Valentino Rossi. Iannone not out of this by a long, long way.
Here comes Rossi up the inside of Iannone, pushes him a little bit wide. Rossi back into 3rd place. Marquez 2nd, Iannone now 4th. Lorenzo, what's that advantage at the front? He certainly has increased it, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's back up to 1.3 seconds now. Lorenzo, it had come down to half a second a couple of laps ago. Lorenzo is getting the hammer down. Cal Crutchlow is back in front of Dani Pedrosa. You can just see them sweeping through the corner of your picture. Crutchlow, Pedrosa and Vinales having a great battle for 5th place. Marc Marquez had a quick glance over his left shoulder coming out of turn 10 on the last lap. He would have got a face full of number 46. Now Rossi knows, he's very, very conscious of the fact that if Iannone is right on his back wheel coming down the start finish straight, there's nothing he can do. The Ducati is just way, way too quick in a straight line.
That's also where those 2 extra litres of fuel come in pretty handy.
Lap 14, Marquez 1.2, Lorenzo crosses the line, 14 laps to go. Look at the power of that Ducati. Valentino Rossi does not want him to let him get into the Duan corner first. He doesn't let him, and he also doesn't give him that inside advantage. They come through the southern loop. Great riding by Rossi.
Yeah, Rossi's got his hands full though with that factory Ducati, because as you can see through the southern loop, Marc Marquez is just stretching away from Rossi. The gap between Marquez and Rossi, it's up to 7/10 of a second. Marquez trying to chase down Jorge Lorenzo. Rossi keeps a defensive line through turn number 4. No way through for Andrea Iannone. Iannone though knows he doesn't have to make a bold move on the brakes, because if he can just stick on the rear tyre of Rossi through these fast and flowing sections, if he's close up on the straight, all he's got to do is sit there, keep the throttle wide open, and he'll blitz by him anyway.
That gap is coming down once again. Now Marquez is broken clear a little bit. He is closing up on Jorge Lorenzo. We ride with Lorenzo. He knows that Marquez is coming. It's down to 0.8 of a second. Here is Marquez over Lukey Heights, down into turn 10. Just over 13 laps remaining of this epic clash here at Phillip Island. Round 16 of the championship. Don't put the points up down the side because it's going to change at a blink.
We're about to complete lap number 14, just over the halfway point of this amazing Australian Grand Prix. The gap down to Marquez and Lorenzo, it's down to half a second. Marquez is really putting his charge on now. He's just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:29.294. He was 0.6 of a second quicker than Lorenzo.
I think Valentino Rossi would settle if Marquez can get past Lorenzo for second and third, wouldn't you? I think that is real damage limitation. Marquez closing up all the time through the southern loop, through the Stoner corner, on the brakes now for turn 4. Marquez. We ride with Lorenzo, he knows he's coming.
He's right there, there's less than the bike length as they come through turn number 4, just right behind is Marquez. Lorenzo through Siberia, it was half a second through the first split, it's going to be under half a second through that second split. It's Marquez looking to win in MotoGP for the first time at Phillip Island, piling the pressure on Lorenzo.
There he is, Marquez, as they run through over the top at Lukey Heights. Just over 12 laps remaining. We ride with Lorenzo. Will that orange-coloured Honda appear in our picture soon? Well, we're about to find out. MG corner, and then these fast left-hander along the top end of the circuit into the Gardner Straight. Be interesting to see what the time is. I think visually you'll see that Marquez is close. We may even get a glimpse of him any moment now. 4th gear, up into 5th, up into 6th, down behind the bubble, over the line. 12 laps to go here at Phillip Island. How close is Marquez?
He's within 0.3 of a second. We just saw a glimpse there of Lorenzo's unbelievably consistent pace at the front of this race, but he's under real pressure now. This is the great battle for 5th place, raging between number 35, Cal Crutchlow, Danny Pedrosa and Maverick Vinales, having an outstanding ride on that factory Suzuki. Crutchlow outride at the southern loop. Danny Pedrosa sweeps through, so Pedrosa up into 5th place. The gap now between Lorenzo and Marquez as they come down to turn 4. Marquez is really tight now on Lorenzo's back wheel. It's under 0.3 of a second for the first time.
Pedrosa, Crutchlow, Vinales, all three having a great ride, but this is the one that matters. What about Marquez and what about Jorge Lorenzo? We ride with Danny Pedrosa, currently running in 5th place. Crutchlow, Vinales just behind him. Now we ride with Jorge Lorenzo, and Lorenzo is coming under enormous pressure. Up towards Lukey Heights he comes, just over 11 laps, down towards the MG corner. Marquez is closing for the kill. Marquez almost on the rear wheel of the Yamaha now. Valentino Rossi in 3rd place. If he can stick there and Lorenzo doesn't win the race, that won't be a bad day's work for the championship leader.
Marquez through turn number 12, hard on the gas now, down the Gardner Straight. We know that Honda has got the horsepower to close that gap down on Lorenzo over the line. The gap down to within 0.2 of a second, and the Ducati of Andrea Iannone blitzes back into 3rd place by Valentino Rossi.
Rossi tries to fight back round the outside, round the southern loop. Rossi on the charge behind the Ducati up towards the Stoner corner, wants to get close as Marquez wants to close as they come down towards the hairpin, turn 4, not close enough through the Stoner corner. Now can he get up the inside on the brakes? He brakes hard. Can Rossi get up the inside of the brakes of Iannone? Probably not. Lorenzo still leads, but you don't need a timing screen now. That's how close it is. You don't need a timing screen for this battle for 3rd place. Iannone just holding off Rossi as they go up through Siberia.
3 laps to go. Jorge Lorenzo led this Australian Grand Prix by almost 1.5 seconds. He now leads it by just 0.2. Marquez piling on the pressure. Iannone doing a brilliant job on that factory Ducati. If we can keep Rossi behind him and blitz away down that straight, there's problems for Rossi. Will Rossi attack on the brakes down into turn number 10 to try and snap back for that 3rd place? Lorenzo surviving the pressure cooker at the moment.
Yes, but it's very tight, isn't it? Into this turn 12, into the Gardner Straight. Marquez, you would think, not quite close enough. 99 and 93, we've seen some battles between them before. 10 laps to go when they cross the line. Lorenzo desperate to pick up 25 World Championship points. Marquez just wants some points at Phillip Island in the MotoGP class. He's got nothing to lose. We ride with Lorenzo into the southern loop.
You know, he was 2 tenths faster on that last lap than Valentino Rossi. Marc Marquez, he's lining up a move down on the brakes into turn 4. They'll sweep through this 5th gear Stoner corner. Lorenzo got good acceleration, grip out of that corner. Is Marquez close enough for a move up the inside? Here comes Marc Marquez to lead the Australian Grand Prix up the inside of Lorenzo. Marquez leads.
Lorenzo tries to fight back as they come up towards Superior, but Marquez for the first time leads the way. Iannoni's still fighting off Valentino Rossi. Marquez leads the way through Siberia. Lorenzo, Iannoni and Rossi. Bit further back, Pedrosa, Crutchlow and Vinales, we're really not doing them any justice. There's a great battle going on there. But this could decide so much what happens in the World Championship. Now, can Rossi get past Iannoni? That would be a massive, massive thing to do. 11 points in the championship as we stand.
Valentino Rossi's having to work so hard just to keep with Andrea Iannoni. Lorenzo and Rossi were the 2 in that top 4 that dropped back into the 130s on that previous lap. We're about to complete lap number 18, and it's Marc Marquez that leads here in Phillip Island over the line. He's been able to stretch out at 3/10 of a second already on Lorenzo. You can see there Rossi really struggling to stay on the coattails of that Ducati. In fact, Rossi is 3/10 of a second back of Iannoni. This great fight between Marquez and Lorenzo through the southern loop.
11 points separate Valentino Rossi and Jorge Lorenzo in the championship. Will there be a change as there was at Motegi? 8.5 laps to go.
That was the move that Marc Marquez made on the brakes at turn number 4. Great block pass on the brakes. He's run wide a couple of times there. I tell you what, Jorge Lorenzo's going to have to worry about Andrea Iannoni and Valentino Rossi. The pair of them are charging through Siberia.
Or is it Motegi all over again? Is he going to come through with Andrea Iannoni this time, Valentino Rossi? 8.5 laps of pure drama to come here at Phillip Island.
Did Jorge Lorenzo burn up his tyres as he tried to make that break out the front? We'll find out in these final dramatic 8.5 laps here in Phillip Island. Back with the battle for 5th place, Danny Pedrosa, the Motegi winner, leading from Cal Crutchlow and Maverick Vinales. Brilliant job. Can't speak highly enough of the job being done by the 20-year-old Spaniard, Maverick Vinales. That Suzuki is losing about 20-25 horsepower against those 2 factory Hondas. It just shows how hard Maverick Vinales is pushing through the corners to stay right there. Marquez and over the line. The gap almost 4/10 of a second. Iannoni now within half a second of Jorge Lorenzo, and it's Rossi a further 2/10 back. This is built up for an intriguing final 8 laps.
Yeah, he was worried about trying to stay with Marc Marquez. Now he's going to have to worry. This could be a massive, massive 8 laps in the championship if Iannoni can bring Rossi along and perhaps pass Jorge Lorenzo. Lorenzo hanging on by his fingertips at the moment as they come through the southern loop, and now they come down to the Stoner corner into the hairpin, and Iannoni is closing all the time, and Rossi says, I'll just stick in there, thank you very much, and see what happens when we arrive.
Marquez through Siberia. They'll complete the second split now. Lorenzo is coming under really big pressure from Iannoni. Marquez's advantage is still just under 4/10 of a second. But you wouldn't even rule Valentino Rossi out of taking the victory here in this Australian Grand Prix. He's just sitting there at the back of this group in 4th place. Marquez has got to the front, but he's not started to pull away from Lorenzo, Iannoni and Rossi.
And Iannoni really is closing up on Jorge Lorenzo now. Be interesting to see just how they compete with each other when they get onto that Gardner Straight. We've seen it's an absolute rocket ship, the Ducati. We are about to find out. Onto the Gardner Straight. 7 laps to go when they cross the line.
Iannoni launches the Bologna missile down the start-finish straight. Here he goes. He's in the slipstream of Jorge Lorenzo. Lorenzo has got nothing to respond. There's nothing he can do about that. Iannoni's in too hot. Lorenzo sweeps through at the Duan corner. Iannoni briefly held 2nd place.
Oh dear, can it get more exciting? exciting than this. Iannone was through, too hot in. Lorenzo back into second place, and Rossi waits to pounce. And Rossi will pounce at some stage with 7.5 laps to go. What a Grand Prix we've got here in Australia.
Yeah, the reason Iannone probably went in too hot into that first corner, he got that slipstream out from Jorge Lorenzo as he came out of the clear air. He was probably going 6 or 7 kilometres an hour quicker on the brakes into that first corner. Marquez, Lorenzo, you're on board with Iannone. There is Valentino Rossi.
He hasn't got away. Sorry to put it, but he hasn't got away, Marc Marquez. This is going to be a 4-rider battle. Look at Lorenzo. Oh, Lorenzo is back in front.
Lorenzo around the outside of Marc Marquez on that run up to Lukey Heights. It was brave, it was bold, it was ambitious, but he made it stick. Lorenzo hits the front again. It's an absolute classic here in Phillip Island, the race of 2015.
Oh, the race of the decade, perhaps. Into the Gardner Straight they come. There will be 6 laps to go. I hope my voice lasts that 6 laps. Lorenzo now leads the way from Marquez, Iannone and Rossi.
Start of lap 22, we can barely catch our breath here. Lorenzo leads, Marquez still in second place. Danny Pedrosa's just put in a personal best lap of the race, but he's 3.5 seconds back of this thrilling, nail-biting fight for victory here at Phillip Island. Lorenzo leads the way out of the southern loop. This is where Marc Marquez got close enough a couple of laps ago to take the lead for the first time through turn number 4. Marquez, though, can't relax. He's got Andrea Iannone looking for a way up the inside. Is Iannone going to have a look? No, he's not quite close enough. Rossi too far back in 4th.
Rossi will make some sort of move, I'm sure of that, but full marks to Lorenzo. We thought the Properties race was over, and Iannone now moves up. Iannone has gone through into second place. Marquez relegated to 3rd. Rossi's going to have to make a move soon. Lorenzo back into that regular rhythm at the front.
And Rossi up the inside of Marquez, almost up through Lukey Heights as Marquez struggling for rear grip. Can Andrea Iannone get close enough on Jorge Lorenzo this time around to take the lead in this Australian Grand Prix? Valentino Rossi knows that he's got to get in front of Marquez and Iannone and build up a slight gap coming onto that straight, otherwise he'll get blitzed to the finish line. Lorenzo then through the last corner at the end of lap number 22. Iannone in second place, and it's Marquez.
5 laps to go, this amazing Australian Grand Prix. The Ducati blitzed down the start and finish straight, but Lorenzo still has the advantage. Iannone in second place, Marquez 3rd. Rossi having to work very, very hard now there to stay with this leading group. Through the southern loop. Who's going to win the race? What will the positions be in the World Championship at the end of the race? This could go absolutely any way as they race into the Stoner corner.
Marquez is lining up Iannone. He's definitely going to move up the inside of the Italian on the brakes into turn 4. Perfect move by Marc Marquez. No way through for Andrea Iannone. So Marquez then back into second place through Siberia. He's made a couple of really good moves down into turn number 4 as Marc Marquez. He's really strong on the brakes into that tight first gear right-hander.
We ride with Marc Marquez. No points here in MotoGP at Phillip Island. Boy, is he putting on a show this afternoon. Rossi right on the rear wheel of Andrea Iannone. We're back with Lorenzo. So be a massive, massive 25 points. There you go. It would be 6 points. It won't be 6 points now because Valentino Rossi has come through on Andrea Iannone.
But Rossi knows as they peel through 11 and then through 12 that Andrea Iannone will just use that Ducati horsepower to blitz that on him down the straight. Lorenzo, he knows that he can't have anybody close to him at the end of this race because he will get slipstream. He's really trying to make a push for it in the lead is Jorge Lorenzo. He's up now by over 6/10 of a second. There you go. Iannone just eases by Rossi's factory Yamaha down into the Duan corner. Is this the crucial move by Jorge Lorenzo at the start of lap 24?
Here comes Rossi back up the inside of the southern loop. Listen to the crowd. Valentino Rossi back into second place in front of Andrea Iannone. There is Marquez, there is Lorenzo. Little straight run, then into this flat out 5th gear Stoner corner before the hairpin. Under the hairpin they come, and Rossi defensively gives Iannone no way to get through the inside, which he wanted to do.
On this infield, this fast and flying infield section, Rossi hasn't got the pace to gap Andrea. You know, the factory Ducati rider he's having the ride of his life in the MotoGP World Championship. Rossi just can't give himself enough meters of an advantage down that Gardner straight. There is Lorenzo just going through Luque Heights. Marquez second, the gap between the two is half a second, so Marquez just pulled back a tenth down into this first gear, turn number 10, and Andrea Iannone is going to be close enough as they sweep through the last two corners, these fast two left-handers. He'll be close enough, you feel, to rock it by Rossi again on the straight. Lorenzo then to complete lap number 24. He's got the upper hand by over half a second from Marquez.
Lorenzo crosses the line now. 3 laps to go here at Philipe Island. Marquez, Rossi and Iannone. Where is that Ducati? Rossi doesn't want to let it through. Rossi has not let it through. He's found a little bit of extra pace into the Duan corner. And actually now he's closing up on Marquez.
4 absolutely crucial points. Rossi out a little bit wide through the southern loop. He's never braked later in his life at the Duan corner to keep that factory Ducati at bay. This battle for second place now really intensifying. Rossi knows these are 4 absolutely crucial World Championship points. No way through though on Marquez at turn number 4.
Through turn 4, up towards Siberia, 2.5 laps to go. Lorenzo leads, Marquez coming under pressure now. We ride with Valentino Rossi. He's quick through here, quick through 7 and 8. Will he try and get up the inside of Marquez as they come up towards Luque Heights? He has done it before. Here comes Rossi now. Can he get up the inside? Whoa, it's tight, but he can't as they plunge down Luque Heights.
He's going to try on the brakes down into 10. He's definitely having a look. Rossi, here we go. Is Marquez releasing on the brakes? No, we saw Rossi. He was lining it up. We had the perfect shot. Oh, Andrea Iannone, unbelievable from the Italian up the inside of both Marc Marquez and Valentino Rossi. Take that from Andrea Iannone. Brilliant from the Italian.
Have we seen a better MotoGP race than this for a long, long time? I don't know. But boy, are we enjoying this one. 2 laps to go. We ride with Valentino Rossi. Where did Andrea Iannone come from? And here comes Marc Marquez. Suddenly Rossi is back in 4th place.
Nightmare for Valentino Rossi because Jorge Lorenzo's clear at the front by 1 second. This could be a massive swing in the points in the World Championship. What a move by Andrea Iannone. Rossi got up the inside of Marc Marquez on the brakes. They both just ran a little bit wide as Rossi made the block pass, and coming through the small gap that was left was Andrea Iannone, and all of a sudden the Ducati man in 2nd place.
And Marc Marquez closing up on the brakes. Iannone runs it a little bit wide. Marquez should make it stick. Marquez back into 2nd place. Iannone fights back immediately. These two have had some great battles in Moto2 and MotoGP. Iannone just about hangs in there. We ride with Marquez. This is the battle for 2nd place. 1.5 laps to go. Up through 7 and 8. Luque Heights approaches.
Lorenzo still leads the way down to turn 10. This is where we saw that unbelievable double overtake by Iannone last time around. He's great on the brakes down in there. No way through for Marc Marquez or Valentino Rossi. There's Lorenzo. He's up by 0.8 of a second, looking great for a 7th win of the season. He's had to really scrap it out this time around though, as Jorge Lorenzo were about to start an absolutely pivotal 2.764 miles of this World Championship. Lorenzo leads with Rossi back in 4th.
Strap yourselves in, hold on to the edge of your seats. Here they come, down into the Duan corner. And he runs it a bit wide, Lorenzo, and Marquez has now, Iannone, and Marquez has come through. He fights back immediately, side by side. Once again, Marquez now comes up the inside. Rossi closes up on Iannone, coming out of the southern loop.
What a duel between Marquez and Iannone. The exchange overtakes at the Duan corner. Marquez swept back through at the southern loop. Can Rossi move up the inside of Iannone? Rossi up the inside, trying to take 3rd place from the factory Ducati man. Valentino Rossi makes it stick. Oh, he gets a bit of a nudge from Andrea Iannone. It's getting really tight on the run down to Siberia. Marc Marquez has closed right up on Jorge Lorenzo.
Through 7 and 8, Marquez is making a big move. Rossi is now up into 3rd place. 7 and 8, Luque Heights approaches. Half a lap to go here in Australia. Can Lorenzo hang on? And Iannone's got back into 3rd.
through. Luis Marquez is close to him. He's going to move through on the brakes down into turn 10. Marquez goes for the victory. He's made that move stick. Rossi comes through on Andrea Iannone. The World Championship chopping and changing right here at the end of the Australian Grand Prix. Marquez leads.
Yeah, and Iannone back on Rossi. Marquez leads the way. One bend to go. Into the Gardner Straight they come. Marquez surely now is going to win here in Australia. Jorge Lorenzo will be in second place. Marquez wins. Who is going to be third?
Andrea Iannone takes third place. Valentino Rossi off the podium. What a last lap by Marc Marquez. It was the fastest lap of that Australian Grand Prix. A 1:29.280. He started that last lap almost 1 second behind Jorge Lorenzo. That was a last lap of a world champion. He might be surrendering the crown this year, but boy, what a last lap. One of the best last laps you'll ever see from that man there, Marc Marquez.